And as far as like attendance goes, if you are an in-person person, like that's how it's supposed to be, unless a couple of you have shared that your roommate or someone in your building, you're in quarantine. That's a perfect example to be on Zoom. And then when we moved to Zoom, a lot of people just shared that's what they prefer, and that's totally fine. So if you're not going to be here, I need you to email me. This is mostly for the people who aren't here, and you can make it up since I'm recording all of our classes, but I'd prefer for everyone to be here in real time, cameras on, so I know that like at least the bare minimum you're doing it. So that's, you know, it's like mostly participation grade. So that's that. So yeah, we have a prana. I'll post this exercise or this video about more breathing that we can do, where kind of a lot of like the exhales, more of that, which isn't, you know, as good to do in person right now. So quick little like quiz. Do you guys think you could name like 5 yoga poses? Boom, nailed it. Cobra. Child's pose. Crow pose, yeah.
Pigeon pose.
Pigeon pose, your least favorite, right? Sometimes the ones we like don't like. Cat cow, table, mountain pose. So, yeah, reverse plank, good one, good one. Someone's paying attention. So I did last semester kind of a little like yoga pop quiz, just to see if everyone was listening and learning. And I'm not really gonna do that now, but I'll just like orally ask you all, if someone said, what is yoga? Like, what's the definition of yoga? What would you say? And you guys, I'll unmute you all. You guys can participate, everyone on Zoom. What is yoga? What have you learned? Yeah, that's awesome. There aren't any wrong answers. Relax.
That it's much more than just like the movement. The movement is like kind of like the tip of the iceberg of like the whole yoga practice. It's more about like the philosophy and the breathing and all of that.
Yeah, awesome. Excellent. Yeah, there's like a lot more than just what you might initially think. Anyone on Zoom? Anyone have any idea? Like, how would you answer that question? Everyone, Marissa, can you turn your video on? Okay, well, if no one wants to share, I'll just mute you guys, and I'll post something on Moodle with like a long list of kind of the definitions I've come up with for yoga. So yoga is a way to strengthen our body, to stretch, to get flexible, right? It's a movement practice. And it's also a way to quiet our mind. So in the Yoga Sutra, this philosophy that I've shared a little bit with you, Second Yoga Sutra has the definition, which is yoga is the stilling of the fluctuation of the mind, so the quieting of the thoughts. So you could say like yoga is movement and meditation. Yoga is a way for us to see clearly beyond our illusions, beyond our personal views. Yeah, and it's kind of like a lifestyle. So yeah, also like a lot of the flow yoga we do is all about like linking movement and breath, like vinyasa flow yoga. Vinyasa means to place in a special way, like on purpose. So connecting our breath and our movement to flow with our breath. And you can also think about a definition of mindfulness I shared about mindfulness is paying attention in the present moment on purpose. So just kind of really being here in a really deep way. So yeah, just a little overview. And then today we'll just talk a little bit more about some philosophical parts of yoga. So We talked about the chakras and we did a little chakra meditation. So those are kind of like the 7 main energy centers of our body. And there are also in yoga philosophy something called the koshas. So the koshas are the layers of our body. So kosha means sheath, layer, or body. And originally this term referred to like a snake's shed skin, especially the cobra, which is supposed to shed 5 times. So the 5 sheaths, these layers we talk about in yoga philosophy are from the Upanishads, which is one of the texts we study in yoga. So there are 5 layers, and the first one is the Annamaya kosha, which is the physical body. So it might be the easiest to connect to our Annamaya kosha. So yeah, like this physical body, this body that holds our organs and our brain and our spirit and takes us around. And you know, we can really connect by noticing, like, if we do physical exercise or strength building, we're like building muscle tone. And if we don't have as much muscle tone. Or if we're doing a lot of yoga and stretching, we have more flexibility, or we don't. Another way to really tune into this like outside layer, this Annamaya kosha, is noticing like how we eat, right? Like mindfully eating, like noticing like the volume, the weight, the speed. Like, are you someone that like eats all day, like snacks, or you have like 2 big meals? Are you into intermittent fasting? Are you always like afternoon, like I need a little chocolate, I need some coffee? So really noticing like the quality of the food you eat, what you drink. And in an ideal world, we would be eating like alive foods, right? Like fresh foods that are alive, that have energy in them. So that's prana, right? In yoga, like energy, like fresh and like local, organic, healthy foods, which is hard financially a lot. And especially you guys are dining halls open right now? Are people eating in the dining hall? Do you have to take it to go? You can eat it there. How is the food? It's really bad. Are there like fresh vegetables? No vegetables. With like iceberg lettuce and like bacon bits. So it's obviously, I'm sure, hard for you guys to eat healthy. And like college, we're ordering like pizza and Chinese food and stuff late at night. So, you know, this is like part of the practice of like connecting to this outer layer of our body and really just paying attention, even paying attention to like when you go to the bathroom and, you know, all that stuff. So just kind of paying attention, and the better we can understand our physical body, the more healthy and connected you can get to your inner world. So all the other layers. And I don't know if anyone's interested in nutrition, but like in my life, I notice sometimes if I eat like crap frozen food, not only do I like not feel great, but like I feel like it gets me down, like my emotions. Or like if I like binge eat some like cookies or like ice cream, then I'm just like, or like you just feel, has anyone ever done that and just felt depressed? So there's like a big connection with our gut, with our like gut and our brain and our emotions. And there's a lot of really interesting studies out there about like psychiatry and like psychology and our diets. So like if you think about someone who's super depressed might just eat like white bread and cheese, or, you know, just like binge eating or not eating because they're not hungry, but eating like green juices and salads and like healthy foods. It just means that like you're taking care of your body, like you're giving your body like what it deserves, like healthy live food. So that's just kind of one way to notice our Annamaya kosha, so our outside sheath, this physical layer. And then another way to kind of connect to your body is by doing like self-care practices, like getting a massage, like doing self-massage. Does anyone know what a dry brush is? Dry brushing is like, it's like you brush your skin. It's really good for your skin, for exfoliating. And it's just like a nice way to connect to your body. So like self-care practices, like maybe taking some time to like smell some essential oils, meditation, yoga. So these are all part of the Annamaya kosha. So that's the first of the 5 layers. The second one is the pranamaya kosha. So this is the psychic, bioplasmic, and energetic body. So the energy body. So when we get still, when we're moving and breathing with intention, we might start to kind of feel an energy or buzzing around us. So it's connecting to that prana maya kosha. And then just kind of like a layer of an onion, or like a ball and like layers around, we're going down, down deep into the next kosha, which is the manamaya kosha, which is the mental, emotional body, right? So it's believed in yogic philosophy that all of our emotions and all of our thoughts are kind of in this layer underneath our physical and then our breath. So the pranamaya kosha is, breath and energy prana, and it's the most fluid. This layer kind of relates to the element of water. And the manamaya kosha, the third sheath layer, is concerned with concrete thoughts. This is the layer of being that is related to the egoic self. So being concerned with the activity of awareness, the elemental correlation of this body is fire. They're all related to elements of the earth, just like the chakras. So the fourth layer, kosha, is called the Vijnana Maya kosha, which is the wisdom body. So it's kind of like our deep intuition. You might have heard it like referred to as like the belly barometer. Like, have you ever like gone to a place and you're like, oh, this doesn't feel right. There's like some sketchy stuff happening here, or even like interacting with one person, like this, that's like your deep intuition, that like fourth layer. Or you've gone to someone's house or a place and you're like, oh, like this feels good, like without even overthinking it. Like, I love her energy. It feels really warm and safe here. Like, oh, so connecting to that like deeper layer of our like intuition, our wisdom. So this is the body of discernment, abstract thinking, and analysis. So being concerned with more subtle thoughts, the body corresponds to this element of air. And then the last layer, kind of the deepest layer, is called the Ananda Maya kosha. So Ananda in Sanskrit means bliss. So this bliss body. So the deepest layer, which is closest to the divine, therefore it's filled with unadulterated bliss. So the most subtle body, this body is related to the element of space. So, if you're like on top of a mountain after an awesome hike and you're just like, yeah, I feel amazing. So that like bliss body, or maybe in meditation, or like at concert when you're like in this flow state, like, oh, this is really great. So connecting to that, like that deep bliss and divine. So throughout one yoga practice, you might feel or connect to, of course, the first layer, our physical layer, but then really might start to like dive into the different layers of our body, like that bliss body. So those are the koshas. We talked about the 8 limbs. Now the koshas, we talked about the chakras. And then one other thing I think I mentioned on Tuesday are the nadis. So the nadis are like these super highways that go all over our body. So I'll show you a picture. If I can't find it, I'll post it. So these are the nadis. So this is a picture of just like the 7 chakras and like these like kind of circles that go. So there are the 7 chakras, and the nadis are kind of little pathways. I thought I had a picture, but there's also like, I'll post it on Moodle, like a picture of the body that's like just stuff everywhere. So they're like energy centers moving up and down. So this is another part of yogic philosophy, and the main nadi is from the crown of the head to the base of the spine, so the Sushumna nadi. So this long channel that kind of connects like the left side and the right side. The left side is feminine, the right side is masculine. So it's kind of all these opposites, like moon, sun, dark, heat, masculine, feminine, passive, active, and then they kind of connect that center. So, and this is obviously like mostly a movement class. This is mostly physical postures. Other than this semester, we would only like do like what we did today, like an hour and 15 minutes. So I'm kind of sharing more of like the philosophy other side of yoga than I would in necessarily like a regular semester. So maybe that's good for you all, maybe that's not. So yeah, just kind of touching lightly on some of these things. And if you were to do a yoga teacher training, you might learn a little bit more about this. You can always like go on your own and do some more reading. So let's just go over a little bit to more of the Yoga Sutras again. So does anyone remember what the Yoga Sutras are? Anyone on Zoom remember what Yoga Sutras are? So the Yoga Sutras are, it's an ancient text in yogic philosophy, and it's comprised of 195 terse aphorisms. So it's kind of like a one sentence, one line, universal truth. And sometimes they aren't even complete sentences. And what the Yoga Sutras are is like a way to kind of personally interpret and understand the philosophies behind yoga. So, yeah, does that make sense? So it's kind of like a small statement that can have like a bigger, like a much bigger like discussion. So at the beginning of a semester, you know, you get like your syllabus, and maybe it says, you know, like first week we're going over this. So each sutra could have like a whole week like of study basically for the semester, because it's yeah, it's like deep stuff. So we'll just do like a quick review of the first 4 sutras, and then we'll do a little more meditation and then leave. So yeah, the first sutra is 1.1, so there are 4 books, and the first book is like the first book. So to kind of refer to the lines, it's like 1.1 and 1.2, or if it's in the second chapter, 2.2 or 2.4, whatever. So the first sutra is Atha Yoga Anushāsanam. So that's Sanskrit, and it means now yoga begins, or now union is happening. So yoga meaning union, to yoke, to come together, to connect. So Atha is kind of like an auspicious and intentionally placed word. So Atha is like now the yoga begins, like not when you lose 10 pounds or when you can do a handstand, where you can touch your toes, like now the yoga begins, like right now, like everyone's ready, like really tuning into presence. Yeah, so an Atha is also kind of like a prayer. The first letter is the first of the alphabet, and it's kind of like a blessing. So yeah, that's the first sutra. The second sutra is what I was saying earlier, kind of like the most famous. It's Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha. Yoga is the quieting of the mind, or the stilling of the sensation of the thoughts. And in your textbook, there's a whole section on the Yoga Sutras where he gives like the decanography, so like in Sanskrit, the translation, and then a little commentary underneath, which is, if you're interested in learning about the Yoga Sutras, there are tons of different books and translations, and kind of each translation can also be kind of different and conflicting, but that's kind of the one way to learn about the sutras, is it's just, that's how it's translated, just like the word, and then kind of like a personal essay of how we can apply that to our lives. So the second sutra, Yoga Chitta Vritti. So Chitta is like the mind thoughts. Vritti is control. Yoga is controlling all of the busy thoughts in our mind, quieting the thoughts. And if you think of in like a modern context, it might be like the only time in someone's life when they get quiet and still, when they're in Shavasana at the end of a yoga class. If like you're a parent or a college student, if you have roommates and a busy job and a busy life, like just taking time in every practice, maybe through every day, to just get quiet and still and really listen to like our internal landscape, right? So, and then the first 4 sutras are kind of related. So it's like now yoga begins. What yoga is the quieting of the mind. And then the third sutra, 1.3, Tada Drastu Svarupe Varanam. So Tada means then, our true self Drastu, Svarupe, true form, Vasnam, the establishment of. So then the seer becomes established in our true nature. So meaning now we're doing yoga. Yoga is quieting the mind. And now that the mind is quiet, we can really be our true selves. Like the true self is established. So beneath all like the distraction and the identities, you know, like who are you? Who is your true self? So, you know, if you take away like all the labels, like I'm an athlete, I'm on the lacrosse team, I'm so-and-so's boyfriend, you know, I'm a daughter and a niece and an aunt, and like all of the labels, like I'm a history major, like who are you? Like who is your true self? So these kind of deeper philosophical questions are part of, in the yoga philosophy, how we can answer that. So who are you beneath all the chatter? And there's kind of a metaphor for, if you think of a big mountain that's right next to a lake. So the mountain is a symbol for your soul, yourself. It's called the Purusha. And then the lake is your consciousness. So chitta, what personifies your consciousness. And we want that surface of the lake to be smooth and still so that the soul, the mountain, can be reflected in the lake. And like little ripples and waves in the lake are our mind, our distraction. So the little ripples, so that we can't see clear, right? Everything's like a little fuzzy, or not sure. So when we get still and established, we can see our reflection in the lake, our true self, very clearly. Yeah, once the mind is crystal clear, we begin to perceive the objects in the world the way they are, not the way we see, not like our projection on them. And then the fourth sutra, Yoga Sutra 1.4, is kind of a warning. So it's Vrita Sarupayam Itatra. So otherwise, we identify with the activities of the mind. So vritti, right, modifications, thoughts. Sarupe forms the identification, and itatra at other times. So like I was saying, this is an Eckhart Tolle quote I like. He says, to know yourself as the being underneath the thinker, the stillness underneath the noise, the love and joy underneath the pain is freedom, salvation, enlightenment. So we don't want to identify with our thoughts. So if you think of, even in our language, say you struggle with depression, you know, these are your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions. And you go to the doctor, and the doctor will like diagnose you as like depressed. So then you say like, I'm depressed. Like, I am depressed. That's who I am. I'm living with depression. But like this sutra encourages us to not identify with our mind so much. So you could say like, I am experiencing feelings of depression, or I'm suffering from depression. Like I have feelings of depression, you know, or like, if you struggle with anxiety and have to take medication, it's like you're anxious, you have a disorder, you have an anxiety disorder. You can say like, I'm feeling anxious right now, I'm struggling with anxiety, so that, you know, eventually you can move away from that and say like, oh, yeah, in my early 20s, I really struggled with depression, but that wasn't me. That wasn't who I was. That wasn't my true self. Because I believe, and I really feel that this is true, like we're all supposed to be happy, which is kind of like a funny, simple idea. And maybe some people think that's just like idyllic, but I think like we're here on this earth to like be joyful and happy and free, and like enjoy the mountains and enjoy our bodies and like have fun and create meaning and relationships and like find our community. And right now especially, but probably you could say this at any time in history, there's a lot of like suffering and hardship, and like life also, if you're like just like in the swim of it, can be really challenging, which I don't have to tell any of you that. I know probably everyone in this room has suffered and struggled and come across challenge. I mean, definitely since COVID, right? Everything you've had to pivot and roll with your college experience. You know, I'm sure no one ever like wanted to be online necessarily. Maybe this is like a happy thing. Maybe people are like, yeah, hate people. It's so uncomfortable going out in the world. I just want to like be on Zoom all the time. But yeah, so that's like another important thing. And that's how like these sutras can really be applicable, how we can bring this like ancient teaching into our modern context. Like we don't want to identify with our mind and what our mind tells us, you know? So that's another thing too. If like you ever really question yourself or feel insecure, you're like, oh man, is this the right choice? Like just kind of zooming out. So those are the first 4 sutras, which are kind of like the heart of yogic philosophy. There are a couple other ones that I really like that we can do next week that I think are good kind of like markers and teachers to like learn from. So that's probably enough talking from me. Let's do one more, just like meditation, and then we'll go early. So you can sit or you can lie down. So whatever feels most comfortable for you. I would probably lie down. I think lying down is very nice. Good. And just again, get yourself comfortable. Now, if it's not comfortable to lie down on your back, it might feel better to bend your knees and place your feet on the floor. And it might feel good to let one hand come onto your belly and one hand come onto your chest. Let your eyes close. Good. And then take a deep breath in. And then let a big breath out. Take a full breath in. Let a full breath out. So breathing down into your low belly. Maybe feeling your ribs expand out to the sides. Maybe moving your attention up into the chest. And then exhale from the chest down to the ribs and into your low belly. So breathing deeply and letting go. Close your eyes if they're not already and just start to go in and notice how you feel right now, what's going on. See if you can let your body get still. And then see if you can visualize maybe a star above you, right above your body. And you can make the star whatever color you want. Maybe it's like initially whatever you see, like a yellow or a white or a gold. And then start to bring that light that you see in the star overhead down to your body. So feel to the top of the head, maybe through the skull, and imagine like a light coming down, relaxing across your forehead, the eyebrows, the temples, the nose, the mouth, the teeth, the tongue, the cheeks, and into your jaw. And just let your face relax. Bringing your attention there. And then feel that light, maybe that color move down the front of your throat, relaxing. The back of the neck. And then start to bring your attention down and feel almost like a point of light in the right shoulder relax. Move to the right elbow, soften. And then without moving, just feel a point of light in the right wrist and out into the right hand, the palm, back of the hand, and each finger. Relax that whole right arm. Breathe in, let go. And then feel the right shoulder again, kind of a point of light there, and then into the middle of your chest, relax. And then feel to the left shoulder like a point of light, softening that whole area. Let your left shoulder relax. And then move down your arm to your left elbow, softening and feeling down to your left wrist. The back of the hand, the palm of the hand, and each finger left side. And move your attention back to the left shoulder. Feel the center of your chest relax. And then feel almost like a point of light down to the right ribs, to the right hip. Relax the whole right side. And then back into the center of your chest, relax, and then move into the left shoulder, point of light, relaxing. The left ribs, and down to your left hip, relax. Bring your attention to the middle of your belly. You're just gonna feel the whole front body and the torso, belly is relaxed, soft, heavy. And then feel the back body touching the mat, the shoulder blades, up and down the spine, the mid back, low back, back of the hips, soften. And then bring your attention down into your right hip, point of light, relax. Good. Move your attention from your right hip down to your right shin, and to the top of the right ankle, sole of the foot, and each toe. Then bring your attention from the sole of the right foot back up the leg, front of the shin, back of the calf, feel the knee and the thigh, and again up to your right hip, relax your right leg. Move your attention again to your right hip, into the low belly, soften, into your left hip. And then slowly move your attention down to the left leg. So without moving or distorting at all, relaxing the top of the left thigh, into the left knee. Feel the shin, the calf, and all the way down to the left ankle, top of the foot, sole of the foot, whole foot, left side relaxes. Now take a deep breath in and relax down the front of the body. And then exhale, let everything go. And imagine like you're doing a big sweep along the front of the body. Inhale. Exhale, allow everything to relax. Breathing in through the back body. Let the back body relax. And then feel to your internal organs relax. Let the mind go. Get quiet. Let your skin soften off the muscles. Allow your muscles to soften off the bones. Feel your bones get heavy. In just a couple minutes, we'll be here to let yourself completely rest. See if you can keep yourself here, present, noticing, feeling, breathing. Let go, relax. And can you cultivate a feeling like a witness? Almost like being like an outsider, observing and noticing without getting too attached or identified. Bringing yourself back here. See if you can continue to stay here, to stay present. Notice your thoughts as they come and go. See if you can keep yourself restful, heavy, relaxed, not identifying too much with sensation of the mind. Take a deep breath in, and a big breath out. If you're at home and you'd like to stay longer, feel free to stay lying down. Otherwise, as you're ready, gently begin to wiggle the fingers, wiggle your toes, roll out the ankles, roll out the wrists. Maybe turn your head a little side to side. And then slowly begin to kind of reawaken, stretch your arms up, your feet down, lengthen the body from the top to the bottom, stretch. Bend your knees in, give yourself a gentle squeeze, rock from side to side. Roll to your side and then press yourself up. And coming back up to sit tall. You can stay lying down longer if you want. And just with a nice long spine, sit well, maybe hands on your knees or your thighs, and just notice how you feel. So bringing attention now into the physical body. How do you feel? What's going on? Maybe difference between how you felt at the beginning of class and now once again. And just remembering that you have access to feel peaceful, restful, calm whenever you want. You have tools within you, your breath, movement, the body. Just kind of letting everything we've discussed, everything we've done, move today, land. One more deep breath. And just close your practice here with your hands at your heart, palms touching. And the word namaste just means that the light in me sees and honors the light in you. Namaste. Okay, great job today, everyone. Tuesday, we're gonna do class online. So it's gonna be Zoom for everybody. Tuesday the 22nd. And yeah, I'll post in Moodle our pranayama video and any like final assignments or reading for the end of the semester, because we're kind of getting to the end where we're wrapping up. Okay, that's it. For everyone who this was your recording, email me the word chambers, and that's how I'll know you finished the second section of class. And